Min-hsuan, but everybody goes to ttcat, and I have a cat. Her name is Titi. She's been with me for 13 years, so it's my Twitter, it's my email, it's my Facebook, everything. So on Slack, ttcat. All right, so I work in the Open Cultural Foundation. It's a local foundation for open source communities. I will go there. And also, I'm a hackathon organizer for g0v community. Right. So a little bit background of me. I worked for a civil society organization for 13 years. So I'm an activist. I work for LGBT movement, anti-nuclear movement, green politic, not like in America. The Green Party in Taiwan is very, very small and a bunch of purists. And also human rights and a lot of things. So a little background for Taiwan. 2014, we have a very big movement. It's called Sunflower Movement. It's a bunch of students. They occupy the parliament for 24 days. And not only inside the parliament, also around the whole area, there's hundreds of thousands sleep on the street, they live there, just like the Occupy movement is everywhere else. So, so I would say all my life I did organizing the protests, or I sleep on the street. It's all just my life, all right? So what caused this movement? Back in 2014, our ruling party, ruling government, they want to sign a trade deal with China government. It's about service industry exchange. And they didn't tell everybody they are doing the negotiation before they have the final deal. So nobody knows. Suddenly, they discourse this trade deal agreement, and they ask the parliament to sign it. And they say, and they refuse to go deliberation turn by turn, because they say sign it all or not at all, right? So only have 1 month to let the people to decide. And back in 2014, they have a majority in the parliament, so they want to go vote, obviously. And that's why it caused so many people concerned, angry, because people don't know what's happening in the trade deal. They don't know they want to take it or not, and then they feel like we are going to be sold to China. Right, so what we learned from this movement, there's three very important things here. One is policy making, it's not transparency. So it's like you don't know what your boyfriend or your girlfriend do last night, so you just feel like you cannot trust him or her. And the second one is government data not open. So they got some information you don't. So sometimes the public debate around the policy, public policy, it just doesn't get to anywhere because people have different information. And the third one is information overload. It's like people to people, it's very hard to reach consensus without institution facilitate. It's like we can bring 0.5 million people on the street in the end of this movement, but how we made all those people sit down and to talk about what we want and make a consensus. So, during the Sunflower movement, we built a lot of online tool and offline tools too. So this one is just like a search engine. You can just type your company name or registration number of your company, and then they will map in the open data from the government and tell whether or not your company be affected by this trade deal. So it's like a search engine, and it's very quick, and let people understand how this trade deal will affect them. So it's us. It's a g0v, turn the O to 0. It's a g0v, but it is very hard to say it, so we pronounce it as a gov0. So it's like a digitalize the government or hack the government or shadow government, this kind of concept. So it started at 2012. and start with some Civic hacker. And what we do is Civic hacker, just like you guys doing here. And the main goal is to improve the public communication, popular consciousness, civic participation, engagement, and so on. So basically, we are thinking how we going to improve our democracy with the bandwidth we have today, right? So this is in the parliament. So you can see, as you can see, it's like a reality TV show. So there's so many media there. They record and live stream everything 24 hours. And during the first night, what we did is we set up the internet. So because in the first night in the parliament, there's too many people there. So it's very hard to everybody look at their phone, and so the 4G signal or 3G signal is very, very slow. So some information we just cannot send it out. So the first night, what we did is we bring the cable from the neighborhood and we send the Wi-Fi signal inside the parliament and so on. Right. So basically, what we did is like this, just like a normal gigs. We monitor the internet traffic during the Sunflower movement. So anyone feel relate here? No? All right, so 2012, this is our first project. So this is annual budget of the central government. They publish this in the PDF file, and it's very ugly and very hard to read. And every year they publish this. And I would say there's less than 1,000 people actually read it in Taiwan. And it's really, really serious because it's your tax money. Just like you got your salary every month, and you will try to record sort of what money you spend on the movie, what money you spend on the rent, right? But how our money is spent, how our government spend on different items, people don't know. So the first project of the g0v is we did the visualization of a budget. So we use like an interactive interface, and you can compare the size in real time, and you can see is the red one is decreasing and the green one is increasing compared to previous year. And also because it's like some amount is very, very huge, like this one is 96 billion of Taiwanese dollars. So nobody has the concept, what does that mean, right? So you can translate to how many bubble tea you can buy, or how many space travel you can do, right? And also we let the people to comment if they want to delete it, or they want to increasing, or they say it's too much, I want to cut it, right? So what we did is try to bring the anger to the hacktivism, to try to make people who angry about what the government do, like stupid things, another stupid thing again. So we just gather those people, and we try to make something. Yeah. And because it's open source, so actually 3 years later, Taipei City government actually forked this project, and they used the same project, same interface to publish their annual budget. And they got like very, very heat. There's a lot of attention from the citizens. So our concept is more like, we know government always do some stupid things, but we assume them don't know how to do the cool thing. So we show them this is the way you can actually do it, and it's open source, so you can actually fork it if you like it, right? All right, so we do a lot of projects. g0v is more like a platform. It's like people can gathering around here. So we just do like bi-monthly hackathon, and people come here and meet friends, and they have projects. So there's a lot of projects. I just go through a few of them. One is air pollution monitor website, and we combine all those like open data from the government, and also people, they make like open hardware. So you can actually put one sensor in your neighborhood. So this sensor will connect to the internet and put your data, the air pollution data on this website. So it's just combine every sensor here. And then also we do the voting handbook. So it's like we put different data from different administration and put it together, like regarding to your candidates in your district. So actually people now, they don't have to go to different website and dig it around. They can actually see your candidates, what they promised 4 years before, and then what they actually vote in the parliament during these 4 years, and how their money come from, who's their donors, and do they actually go to a meeting in the parliament? Some people doesn't, all right? Okay, so, right, and then this one is a line bot. Does anyone know what line is? Line, all right? So line is like WhatsApp. It's a messenger group. I don't know you, but in our context, in Taiwan, we have so many like family group, like one line group, and then all your aunt, all your cousins, the people you never met, they were just like in this group, and they will say hello every morning, and they will share a lot of fake news. All right, every news they got, they will share to every like different groups. So this is a chatbot for the fact checking. So because so many people, like my parents, they don't know the Google, they don't know other websites, they only know Line and the Facebook. And the only thing they do is like they click and then they forward. All right, so we do this chatbot. So we ask them, before you share to anyone, you just forward to this chatbot. And then this chatbot will go to this like a crowdsourcing editing platform, and then they will report this news. And if everybody can be the editor, is crowdsourcing, and they can send back what the editors say. It contains the false information, or it contains correct information to the users. Right. And also we do like a v-Taiwan, and a v-Taiwan is a platform to discuss public policy regarding the internet, like Uber or like Airbnb, or like whether or not we can sell the alcohol online. All right, so these kind of things. And this interface actually is a police. It's another open source tool. It's really cool. You should look at it. It's how you group people's opinions, and they can vote on the statements, and they will automatically use like a machine learning and some sort of things, and group you into different groups, and you can actually see what this group all agree or disagree on, what that group what this group's opinions, and also you can also see like what major like common consensus. Right. So we have a Slack. Slack is open to everybody to join. Now it has 3,000 people. Patrick's there, so you can ask him how he got there. And also we have a Facebook public group. There's 12,000 people there, and it's all Chinese, so you probably don't want to join. And this one is Facebook fan page. We do have this Twitter, so if we have some event, we will use the Twitter. Right. So there's a 136,000 people on there. Why there's so many people there? Because we do a lot of things around the Sunflower movement, right? And then we put our logo in the right corner, right top corner to every website. So we even do like information sharing platform. So that's why there's a lot of people, especially government or people work on the politic or social movement, they know about the W0 communities. Right, and everything's on GitHub, so it will be more friendly to you, so you can actually join. And all right, it's a status. We have 1,000 contributors. Only 40% of them are coders. So we bring a lot of people from traditional civil society organization and like environmental, labor issue, or gender issues, and also government officials, not politicians, but the government officials who really try to do different things. And then they will come to us. And also we have some other people. It's like people who understand law, or people, writers, or photographers, or all kind of things, right? So every 2 months we have this hackathon. It's a one-day hackathon. It's not like your hacknight, but we do have so many food, just like you. It's like a universal, right? Just how you attract the hacker to do something free for you, right? Just provide a lot of trash, garbage food, and like hamburger, pizza, and Coca-Cola is like no healthy at all, and the fried chicken. We have so many fried chicken, right? And we just passed our 5th anniversary hackathon, and it's us. We have it's a very happy photo here. All right, so we do have this summit. 2016 and 2014, every 2 years we have this g0v summit. Last summit we have 800 attendants, speakers from 17 different countries. And this guy, see here, he's actually our previous prime minister. And he's the one who from Google, and ended up becoming a politician. And he's the one actually pushing the open data in the government. So that's why he became a keynote speaker just before his like final 2 months. All right, so, and it's all made by volunteers. So there's no paid staff for the summit. So we have hundreds of volunteers. They work for 7 months. And this year we are doing it again. So in October 5th to 7th, this time we have 3 days, also in Taipei. So welcome to join. You have a direct flight from here to Taipei, Air Canada. Right, and just don't get it wrong, because Air Canada recently changed the Taiwan as Taipei, China. So just don't get it wrong. You still have to apply the visa to our government, all right? Don't go to the China government. No, it's still different. We do a lot of hackathon abroad. So this one is in New York, and there's a lot of people starting in New York. They are Taiwanese, and they study in New York, but they still feel like, oh my God, how our country has so many problems. So they gathering around to do some project there. And then we have one, like a digital minister. Who knows her? Anyone? All right, so she's Audrey Tan. She's now our digital minister, but before she's very famous to the world open source communities. And also she's one like very important people from g0v community for years. And after the Sunflower movement, we have a new party get into the office, and she be appointed by this new government. So they promised to do a lot of open government, and you know how it works, right? All right, so back to our community. The community is decentralized, so but we still have some work have to done, like organizing the hackathon. So what we do is, how we do it is, we opened up everything. We opened up our Trello board, so anyone, even you can actually you can actually access it. I don't know if you can read it, but you can actually understand what we do weekly, every week. And also we document like every discussion, every meeting. Sometimes if there's like a public event, not only like a live stream, we will also have a transcription. Some people love to type. So it's our community. So basically it's a stay online, and everything we just recorded and documented. So people can actually access those like information if they didn't present in the same time. Our community have this spirit. It's like, ask now why nobody is doing this. You are the nobody. Well, does that make sense to you? It's like a grandma? Because people from England, they say it's wrong. It's totally wrong. I am, well, right, people from my society. So, this is our culture. So you probably understand that sometimes you want to do something, or sometimes you have this event, and you will meet some people. They will just say, "Oh, you shouldn't do this. Oh, you should do that." Or they will say, "Why nobody is doing this? This is much more important than what you do right now, right?" Or they have so many critical thinking. All right. So what our culture is, we encourage those people to start their own project, right? You are the nobody. You are the one. You should start it. And then we provide the platform, we provide the knowledge, we provide the connection to help you to do it. All right. So it's our community spirit. And in 2015, there's somebody called Mac. I forgot his name. He do this mapping all those civic tech organizations' contribution on GitHub. So he drew this map. So as you can see, that this red dot is like a Code for America. They are very big. And the Sunlight Foundation is here. And also Open Knowledge is Europe group. And there's a Code for Mexico there. Right, and the g0v here. So Taiwan, so now you can have this a little bit sense to understand how bad it is in 2015, 2014. We are so strong because our politics is actually really bad. So maybe we can expect this one may grow a little bigger.
Is that international or in Taiwan?
Well, this is g0v GitHub. So they just mapping. The method is they go to a different conference of the civic tech, and then they put a list of the civic tech organization who speak there, right? So they have a bunch of lists, and then they mapping their GitHub account and they see how their contribution and who's the people there. So that's how they draw this map, right? Yeah, but it's a little bit outdated because it's already 2015, right? So it's 3 years ago. Yeah, but we love this photo because it's, compared to our size, population, right? But if you put on the map, you can actually see that all those organizations, they are based in the West, right? America and Europe. The whole global South or the Asia, there's not too many of them. And those countries is actually need the new democracy. Actually, their civil society need more tech, right? So our goal, start from 2016, is try to bring more context, try to bring more information, or try to make more people come to this region and do the exchange. All right. So like I said before, everything we do, we love an online discussion on the Hacknight. Does anyone use Hacknight before here? It's like a Google Doc, okay? So everybody can add it. So we have this organization for g0v, so every Hacknight is here, so you can actually see what other people discuss. And in 2004, there's some people say, hey, I think we should have this 0RG, organization, but this is 0RG, a legal entity. We need that. So within 1 week, there's a lot of people say, hey, oh yeah, we should do it. So they raise the money within 1 week, and we start the Open Culture Foundation. And the Open Culture Foundation is not only supported by g0v, but also other open source communities in Taiwan. So what we do is actually we act like a physical sponsor for those communities. They have annual events, conference, and they need to receive donation, and they file the invoice or pay the tax. And before us, they use a personal account, or they use some weird company to do it. So now we help them, and we take the overhead for the core funding and maintain the office and the core team. So that's what we did. So the idea is we did the open source community something that they are very hard to do, or something they don't want to do it, like if, financial, do a lot of shit. It's not cool at all, right? So nobody actually want to do it. And also the international exchange. It's like international networking, you need somebody always reply the email. Or you need somebody has like a very easy very easy name to memorize, right? And also anytime there's a conference, you need somebody can go. So we do the international networking. So basically we come to a board like I'm doing right now to tell everybody what we did in Taiwan. And I'm going back to tell Taiwanese people what you guys doing, okay? So please talk to me after this talk. All right, so, and we also provide some small grant for the youth, and we do the workshop. We teach the government information officials what's the civic tech, what's open data, and then we work with g0v and they have this like a prototype grant this time. So I'm going to tell a little bit about this grant. This grant is we raise the money and we tell the founders that we are going to run a open selection, and each project we will give like a USD, 10,000 USD to 16. Actually, it's 20,000 USD for 6 months development. So it's like you can pitch your own idea, and you don't have to do anything. And if your idea be selected, we will give you money, and you can quit your job, or you can bring more people. Well, don't laugh, okay? We are very, very low paid, right, in Taiwan. Okay, so you can actually to try to prove your idea, and we only ask for the prototype and like proof of concept. So it's run by the community. So the how it works is like you can put your own idea online and submit, and it's like immediately open to everybody to access. So the people from the community or people from internet, or whatever they from, they can actually comment on your proposal, and you can go back to edit. So it's like you can talk with the community online to revise your proposal. And in the end, maybe there's some, we save like 1 month, and you can do the revise. And after that, we hire some like judges from a civil society organization, and they will do the selection. Because our idea is your project, in the end, you have to persuade those people to use your project. Those people, they don't understand tech. They don't understand civic tech, but they do understand the problem. They do understand the social values, right? So your job is to convince them. Right. Okay, so this project is also open hardware. This guy, he did like this open hardware sensor, and that a farmer to put into their farm, so they can monitor the very small scale weather, or how's the wet in your land, or what's other like a status. And it can actually record it, and then they have a history data, and then they will send it, like sync it to the farmer's iPad, or their iPhone, or their computer. Yeah. So they can actually to decide what is the best time I do the planning, or what's the best time I do other works. Okay. And then they got a lot of attention because they create this community in the countryside, and they work with the farmers very deep. So they got a lot of news to cover their stories. Right. Okay. Then there's a lot of travel photos. We did a lot of travel. And RightsCon last year, and this year, that's why I'm here. Because this year we have a RightsCon again in Toronto. Right, so one last thing I want to talk to you is we have this g0v news. And the g0v News is not only Mandarin, we have like bilanguage right now, and we do the weekly digest. So every week we will publish like 7 pieces or 5 pieces, like the global civic tech, what's happening, or people try to use the tech to help the civil society or help the citizen engagement or try to improve their government or democracy, this kind of news. So if you have a good idea or a good story, welcome to submit to us, and then we will do the cover. Or you think your project is actually awesome and worth to that the whole world to know, please contact us, all right? And welcome to follow. Right. So we do some event. All right, let me see. All right, another goofy. All right, and then we also part of a code for all, like a code for Canada did. So one last thing I want to say is, what we try to do is we connect the NGOs and the government and the non-tech people. It's like a general public. And we use this open culture that everybody can be the nobody. And if you come to here and you have this like an open mind, no matter your political position is, we can actually work on the same project, as long as it's transparency and it's based on the open data and this kind of spirit. So what we're trying to do is push this culture. What kind of culture? It's like our model before is this kind of broadcast. Like I'm speaking right now and everybody listen here, right? But while you listen, maybe you are doing this like on a Facebook, share with your friend or on the Twitter, right? This is actually how we live in the real life right now. We live in the social media, and the transmission of the data and the information is very, very fast and quick. But our government or public policy making or whole system is still in this way, right? So how we try to move to there a little bit step by step is what we try to find the answer. Right. That's us. Thank you.
We have time for 1 or 2 questions. If anyone has any questions.
I thought your I guess your fake news checker was pretty cool. I was just wondering, what is your process for selecting the moderators or the people who verify what is fake news and what is real news, and how do you even quantify that?
Got it. Okay. Great. So the thing is, they don't have this rule. Okay, so it's like everybody can sign up as an editor online, and they start to they also record like every meeting they have, and it's open, so you can actually go back to see like 2 years before what they discussed at the first time, and then they soon develop how they're going to do the fact check. So they have like a whole bunch of guidelines. If you are like a new editor, this is a welcome note how you do the fact check. They have a community guideline, and you can actually join and discuss with them. And another thing is this fact checking system, they allow like 2 different editors have different opinions. So one editor, if they say, oh, it's not fake news, it's real, right? But another editor can actually have a different review and say, no, they contain some false information. And every time they try to do this like what do you call it? Every time they want to say it's false or it's correct, they have to give 3 different references, like a link. It's like a Wikipedia. Mm-hmm. So it's run by community, and the community can work together. So they have so many like meetups, like a weekly or monthly meetup with a new editor or people like very old, and they will sit together. It's like hackathon, but they just do the fact checking. Right.
Oh, okay.
Just as a
1, 2, 3.
follow-up to this question.
All right.
OpenStreetMap has the wiki and projects and also the editing, so talk.ca. And one of the challenges is over time you end up with maybe a lot of contributors but very few maintainers. And then they almost create a culture that is really hard to break into.
I would say that's definitely one of the challenge. Yeah, because they have some like 1 or 2 editor. They basically do the fact checking every day. Right. So yeah, there's a challenge about how you bring more people and how you balance the quality. So those challenges, what they try to solve and discuss right now. Right.
Just along with the same, along the same question on the first one, I'm just wondering, it's politics, right? How do you enforce the integrity and the security and the proper use of the data? Everything is going so fast. So people come in and go, and yes, they are trying to develop something, but all of a sudden, there is a big problem on the politics front. For example, obviously, China and Taiwan, this kind of thing.
Right. So I'm not going to say that Civic can save the world. So I think the best way, what I think here is, because I worked for a civil society organization before, I know how low tech they are, right? So don't say open data. They don't know what's AI, what's Bitcoin, what's the blockchain, right? So you can imagine that if like 20 years later, if our government, they make a decision in the VR conference or in the VR world, they have this like VR stuff or other things, or they depends on the AI to make the decision for them, or they manipulate the AI system, which I think is much more possible will happen. So how if you are from a human rights organization or civil society, how you going to fight with that if you doesn't know that at all? So what we're trying to do is not, right, civic tech can save all, right? No, we try to do is like we can use this, actually connect with them and help them to understand or have a better sense about the technology.
There's like a first timer. Is well.
Thank you. So I think I'm kind of in the right conference a little bit and leading off this conversation. Sorry about laughing about that grant. But that actually made me think a little bit that you're actually right, because you are taking in such a high value dollar into a developing country. So I wanted to kind of know, what does that really do? Like, how does that change up the things? What's the impact of it? Is it being allocated correctly, etc.?
Right. So there's a quick question, quick answer here. Yeah. The chatbot, the line chatbot, actually is one of our grantee. So before that, they only have like 5 people. So after that, they have a whole community. So I do think there's some value from that. So we actually look into the Code for Germany. They have this prototype fund, and we copy their idea. And also before that, there's a Nine Foundation. They also have a prototype fund. So I do think this is a good model here. But of course, some people doesn't work out. But it's a prototype grant, so we encourage the failure. So it's okay.
There's a
Wait, I think just one more, and then we can break out into groups.
Hi. So I saw it closer to the beginning of the presentation that you mentioned that your organization supports projects, and then later on you were talking about the $100,000 or so funding. Are those different?
It's a different.
I thought so. And so for the first part, which I assume is similar to what we do here, where anyone can pitch anything.
Yeah.
I was just wondering how you provide the support, and also is there a project that is just ever too small or too uninteresting?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so in our hackathon, the format is look like this. You have to sign up before, and then you can access the share note. There's a bunch of notes, and if you are the newcomer, you can actually see how you're going to make a pitch, how you're going to make a new proposal, or how you join an existing project. All right. So during the hackathon in the morning, everybody got 3 minutes or 5 minutes pitch time, and then they can pitch their idea. And in the end, they will always say, I need a coder, I need a designer here, I need a UI, user, I need a front end, or I need people who understand Ruby on Rails, which very hard. All right. So then after that, before the lunch, we will go through like an introduction, and the people will just group up, and then they do like a whole day, and then in the evening they just tell the people what they talk or what they did today. So that's the basically format. But then also we provide a lot of things like there's some community members, they are already familiar with the people who come, right? So they will actually know who's this lady good at, who is that one. Maybe he is perfect on the OpenStreetMap, or this one is perfect on the politician data or open data. And then like at least like a community member, they will try to make a connection. Like, hey, did you talk to Patrick? And or did you talk to this guy? And then they just make a connection. So we do care about how to make more connection for them, and also we will provide that. Like if his ideas has somebody already did it, or somebody is trying to do right now, and we try to tell them merge, don't do the overlap things, and this kind of things. Right? So it's like a community work.
Okay. Yeah, thanks so much. Thank you so much. Are you going to be sticking around?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so if anyone, I guess it might not be an official pitch, but you'll be around, and if anyone has any questions, they should definitely find you. So yeah, now I guess we're going to do quick announcements.
We have some, like,
announcements. Does anyone, I guess we could just kind of queue up, or we toss the mic around.